All right, everybody, Happy New Year, and we're finally getting some talk about the future of the DCU. I know lately it has been a little quiet. There hasn't been too much to talk about. This month is when we're supposed to be getting some details on the future of the DCU. We have been waiting for quite some time, and not just that, a lot of people lost a lot of trust and hope in Warner Brothers, especially after what has happened to Henry Cavill. Some people are actually hopeful and looking forward to it. Some people are uncertain, such as myself. I am a little uncertain. I don't know what's going to be happening here. But a Variety article came out today that I do want to read, and I've read a couple of subheadings, and a couple of the things I've read have made me a little upset, but maybe it's because I haven't read the full article. I need to get more context. So without any further delay, let's jump right into this article and see if there's anything we can be looking forward to in the near future. As 2023 kicks off, DC bosses Gunn and Safran continue to sift through the rubble and will soon reveal their 3-year interconnected vision for the cinematic universe, which won't include Cavill's Superman or Wonder Woman at all. Yeah, gonna quickly stop right there because that's a really interesting sentence. I'm not exactly sure how you should interpret this. Maybe you should look in between the lines in what this is saying, or maybe you should just think to yourself, hey, this is simply how they wrote it. It doesn't really mean anything at all. Gunn and Safran's new plan won't include Cavill's Superman or Wonder Woman at all. The Cavill Superman is obvious, he will not be there anymore, but the no Wonder Woman at all. Why this is interesting is because it's not specific. They're not saying Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. They literally just say Wonder Woman. It almost makes it feel as if Wonder Woman has no story in the first 3 years of DC, which is really, really strange and really would not make any sense at all. So I'm hoping there's like some sort of typo here because that's a little odd. And also I've been seeing a lot of people already talking about, well, I'm confused. I thought this was a 10-year plan, not a 3-year plan. It is a 10-year plan, and more than likely what is happening is they're only delivering the first 3 years. 10 years is a really long time, and why would you release a full 10-year plan when maybe a couple years from now you look at it and say, you know what, I want to change things for year 6, 7, 8. It really wouldn't make too much sense to hype up the next 10 years if the next 10 years won't even look the way they think it will now, or even if we can get past the first year in general, because they do have to know there's a lot on the line right now. And also to this 3-year interconnected vision that they are going to be pitching, I don't know if it's already been pitched to Zaslav. I don't even know if we are going to see that ourselves. I don't think we're going to see everything coming out in the next 3 years. I think the only things we will see is maybe the first year or 2 at most. I don't think us as fans should expect the 3-year vision. If we do, that's fantastic. I just don't know if that's going to happen. Things could have gone in an alternative direction. Behind the scenes, a different group made a play for control of DC. Not long after the Warner Brothers Discovery merger closed in April, Dwayne Johnson directly pitched CEO David Zaslav on a multi-year plan for Black Adam and a Cavill-led Superman in which the two properties would interweave, setting up a Superman versus Black Adam showdown. Black Adam producers Hiram Garcia, who was Johnson's former brother-in-law, and Beau Flynn also were part of the brain trust looking to take DC down a new path. Other sources confirmed the meeting, but downplayed any discussion of Black Adam's future. Although the move took place amid a power vacuum created as former DC head Walter Hamada and Warner Brothers film chief Toby Emmerich prepared to exit, it ruffled feathers internally. Dwayne went around everyone, which didn't sit well, says one. Eventually, new Warner Brothers film co-heads Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdy approved a Cavill cameo in Black Adam, despite the fact that Emmerich had made the call in 2018 to find another actor to don the red cape. So I think it's pretty easy to sit here and say, thank God Hamada and Emmerich are out of Warner Brothers. I don't know how brain dead Toby Emmerich has to be to actually think it would have been a good call to start recasting Henry Cavill as Superman back in 2018, and it still is not a good call to recast Superman today. But that's just a really stupid move, and there's a clear reason why these guys are no longer with Warner Brothers. And you know what, guys? Say what you will about Dwayne Johnson, whether you love him, you dislike him, whether you liked Black Adam or you didn't, that's all up to you. But what I will give him credit for is the fact that, yeah, he may have not made people happy in what he was trying to do with DC, but he saw an opening and at least he went for it. At least he tried. He tried to put his vision out there, and he tried to take control of DC when no one else was. Yeah, arguably, maybe the vision he makes would have been terrible. Maybe it wouldn't have been good, but at least you can see a form of passion in his eyes, whereas with everybody else, you didn't know what in the world they were doing, and honestly, we don't even really know right now what James Gunn is doing. We have no information. So the next couple of paragraphs just talk about the budgets and the box office income that Black Adam made, and it even mentions Shazam on how it made $366 million worldwide in 2019. Terrible outing, did not do well at all. That is just not a good number. Simple as that. And I'm gonna get into that a little bit more when we finish the article. But the article continues to say, as for what else Gunn and Safran have planned for DC's future, sources describe it as a broad but not blanket reset. At this point, nothing is ruled out. Given that Miller has stayed out of trouble since beginning mental health treatment in the summer, some executives are... That has to be a rumor. Like, these sources can't be accurate on that. There's no way Ezra Miller stays as the Flash. There's no way. This movie is lucky that it's even dropping. There is no way that fool gets to keep a job as the Flash, but Henry Cavill loses his job as Superman. There is no way that this goon gets to keep his job, but Gal Gadot is potentially out of a job as Wonder Woman. I can't believe I'm reading that people are open to him coming back. If this is true, if these sources are accurate, these executives better be ashamed of themselves. This is awful. We in this cancel culture society have seen people get canceled for far less than this guy right here. A guy who they should actively be looking to replace him for the future of the Flash. This is a goddamn joke. Moving on. Aquaman, Shazam, Blue Beetle, and Gunn's Peacemaker series for HBO Max all could have a place at the table. Gunn and Safran, who were recommended by DeLuca, have apparently the full backing of the Warner Brothers Discovery top ranks. And then the very end of the article is a statement from the guys who made Batgirl talking about how they would come back to work for DC. Their only condition is that their movie does come out, which of course, granted, that is absolutely fair. The last thing I would ever want to do is make a movie that never drops or ends up getting canceled and literally locked away so no one could ever seen it. And even though I think that Batgirl film would have been awful, I don't think it would have been good at all. I understand what they're saying, but I don't know if there's an opening for them to come back to DC anyways. It is insane how terrible the executives and the owners have been of Warner Brothers these past nearly 10 years. The downfall of Zack Snyder's universe, the downfall of Dwayne Johnson's universe, the downfall of Henry Cavill's Superman, Hamada and Emmerich doing their garbage shenanigans out in the corners of Warner Brothers, Ezra Miller being a straight up menace to society, yet Warner Brothers considering on actually keeping him for the future. What else can we go through? I'm at the tipping point now because at one moment I thought we were capable of getting management who understood what needed to be fixed. Even though it's still early and we need to see what Gunn is doing, there are still certain decisions here that, yes, of course, might be coming from sources that we can't really identify as being true or not, but a lot of these things are making me think like, oh dear God, sell the company. Just sell. Get rid of it. Let another corporation handle it. Because no matter what, it seems like you're always getting Warner Brothers having these idiotic people who are making decisions that make absolutely no sense for the company or the brand of DC. Like, guys, this article is trying to tell you that Shazam was a success. What? I don't care if that movie had a low budget. I don't care. I really do not give a shit. $100 million. I don't care. Yeah, it made $366 million total. I do not care. That is not a success nowadays, especially for a superhero film. Marvel's got Ant-Man out here cracking over $500, $600, $700 million worldwide. Who in the world would have ever thought we'd see a day where Ant-Man is getting his own live action theatrical released films? These next DC films are up for failure. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Aquaman 2, The Flash, even Blue Beetle, considering that there's a really good chance none of these films will even matter moving forward into whatever James Gunn has planned. I know for myself, I am not looking forward to this year's slate of DC films at all. Nothing they are releasing this year is interesting to me because I don't want to dive into these films knowing that there's probably nothing next for them. A lot of you who are regulars on my channel here, you know how I feel about the Flash movie. You know I think that movie's going to be hot garbage. You know that I think it's a waste of time. You know that I think this movie shouldn't even be released and they should eat the $350 million budget. Warner Brothers is broke and bankrupt anyway, so why don't you just add a little bit more to it? You're not causing any harm. You guys are already in a terrible spot. I don't even think people know Shazam is coming out. That movie's marketing has been absolutely terrible. We've seen one trailer, and when's this movie supposed to be dropping? March? We're 2.5 months away, and we've barely seen anything. And you got to imagine hardcore DC fans like myself and many of you watching will know more than the average person about the film because we're trying to keep up to date with everything. But that's also who you want in your theater watching your film. You want the average person. The average person does not know about this movie. When you look at everything, there is no other way to put it other than Warner Brothers, and frankly, DC within Warner Brothers, is just a goddamn mess. And it seems like the only thing this company can ever get right is Batman. Batman is the only one who seems to actually be able to stand upright and be consistent. The jury is still out on Gunn, at least from my perspective. I just want to see what the plan is there. I want to see what he's got cooking. Overall, like, you guys don't understand how bad I just want to see DC flourish. I lose patience and I don't understand what is going on in this company. And I think just what really tipped me over the edge is how can we still be considering Ezra Miller? Like, oh my gosh. My impatience is real, everyone. I really hope we see this 3-year plan. I hope we get some concrete information on the DCU moving forward and from James Gunn too. It is time for some serious change. Everything that Warner Brothers and DC is now, we need to move past this. 2023 is a brand new year, and I'm sure we have a lot to look forward to. But 2023 slate of DC films needs to be done and over with. And we need to focus on the Trinity. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to put this in a video. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I do not care about professional assault artist in Ezra Miller and his Flash. Even though I really like Blue Beetle and I think it's cool he's getting his own movie, I do not care about his own movie when we can't even get a solid basis out of the Trinity. I love Zachary Levi as Shazam, but I don't care about Shazam 2 when I know that movie at its very best will more than likely be yeah, this was a good film, I enjoyed it, had some popcorn and a drink, and now I'm ready to go home. I'm done with these things that still seem to be plaguing DC. Let's just move on, and James Gunn, I swear to God, give us something we can sink our teeth in, and give us something we can be truly happy and excited about. Because I'm telling you right now, if we're reading in between the lines, no Wonder Woman in your 3-year plan is a terrible, terrible mistake. Henry Cavill gone is already not a good start. This idea that Ezra Miller can potentially stay as the Flash is awful and backbreaking, frankly. Let's just do something good, please. Well, there you go. As a DC fan, I have practically gone on my knees and begged for something amazing to come out of all of this. Now it is your turn to let me know in the comments below what you think is going on here and how much truth you think there are to some of these things, and what you're hoping to see from this 3-year vision that James Gunn and Safran have cooked up. But that's it for this one, everyone, and until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.